Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Colonel Vincent Myers, the commander of Blanchfield Army Community Hospital, and Command Sergeant Major Gary, the Command Sergeant Major of Blanchfield Army Community Hospital, welcome to our change of command ceremony. Today we honor Lieutenant Colonel Joseph A. Reagan, who relinquishes command of the Soldier Recovery Unit to Lieutenant Colonel Clarisa A. Horton. At this time, we would like to extend a sincere welcome to our distinguished guests. U.S. Army Medical Department Activity, Fort Campbell Commander, Colonel Vincent Myers, and Command Sergeant Major Gary Petty. Retired Military Executive, Reserve Forces Policy Board, Office of the Secretary of Defense, and current APSU Military Advisor in Residence, Major General Walt Lord. 101st Airborne Division Mission Support Element Director, Mr. Jeffrey Yeager. Champion of Fort Campbell 2021, Mrs. Royce Stevens. U.S. Army Fort Campbell Garrison Commander, Colonel Andrew Jordan and Mrs. Jordan. U.S. Army Fort Campbell Garrison's Command Sergeant Major Chad Stackpole. U.S. Army Fort Campbell Deputy to the Garrison Commander, Mr. David Roddybush. 531st Hospital Commander, Colonel William Bimson. 531st Hospital Command Sergeant Major, Shavonda McLean. U.S. Army Fort Campbell Dental Activity Commander, Colonel Jeffrey Hambryce. At this time, Corporal King will present a bouquet of red roses to Lieutenant Colonel Reagan's mother, Jane, as a thank you for all her support to the soldiers and families of the battalion. Red roses in full bloom signify the bonds of loyalty and affection between the soldiers and families of the Soldier Recovery Unit and signify her devotion, dedication, and tireless efforts. A coin is being presented to Lieutenant Colonel Reagan's twin brother, Jim. At this time, Special Zurich will present a gift to Lieutenant Colonel Horton's spouse, Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy Horton, and their son Samuel, welcoming them to the battalion. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the honors to the nation performed by the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault Band and remain standing for the invocation delivered by Chaplain Fortune Isaboke.
Please join me as I share the invocation. Most gracious and almighty God, we invite you to be preeminent as we gather here this day at this Soldier Recovery Unit Change of Command ceremony. Your word says in Ecclesiastes that to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. And now, in this bittersweet moment, we are faced with a season of change and transition. Most gracious God, by your grace and divine appointment, Lieutenant Colonel Reagan has commanded and led the SRU with an assortment of virtues. Virtues such as discipline, consistency, precision, and a deep well of passion to lead a team of experts in the healing and recovery process of troops and their return to the fight. I pray your grace upon him as he moves on to his next assignment, and may he continue to experience and enjoy success in future assignments. And now, I pray your grace upon Lieutenant Colonel Horton and family as she assumes command and leadership of the SRU. Let your spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding guide her always. I pray for resilience and peace for the SRU cadre, staff, and soldiers in recovery. I ask these things through Christ with thanksgiving. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Soldier Recovery Unit is comprised of active duty, reserve, National Guard, and civilian cadre and staff. The team focuses its energy on ensuring each of the 250 transient soldiers in recovery receive the medical care they need and that they are successfully transitioned back to the force or into a veteran status. The official party consists of our reviewing officer, Colonel Vincent Myers, the commander of Blanchfield Army Community Hospital, the outgoing commander of the Soldier Recovery Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Joseph A. Reagan, and the incoming commander, Lieutenant Colonel Clarisa A. Horton. The change of command is a simple event that is rich with tradition, symbolism, and heritage. Key to this ceremony is the passing of the unit colors. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing his responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there are also the colors. The custodian of the colors is the sergeant major, the senior enlisted soldier in the unit, and the principal advisor to the commander. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of authority from the outgoing commander to the incoming commander, and demonstrates to the soldiers of the unit that the old commander has passed the mantle of leadership to the new commander. With this must also pass the loyalty of the soldiers to their new commander. The ceremony begins with the Soldier Recovery Unit Sergeant Major passing the colors to the outgoing commander for the last time. The outgoing commander then passes the colors to the senior commander, signifying his relinquishment of command. The senior commander passes the colors to the incoming commander, charging her with the responsibility of the Soldier Recovery Unit as its new commander. By authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 1-6, the undersigned assumes command of the Soldier Recovery Unit, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, effective 23 June 2023. Signed, Clarisa A. Horton, Lieutenant Colonel, Military Intelligence, Commanding. This time-honored process is complete when the incoming commander passes the colors back to the Command Sergeant Major, charging him with maintaining the symbol of the command. The Command Sergeant Major returns the colors to the color bearer, who exemplifies the highest standards of discipline, conduct, and military expertise that go with the responsibility of bearing the flag that represents so much to his fellow soldiers. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of Blanchfield Army Community Hospital, Colonel Vincent Myers.
Well, I'll just start with, if this doesn't inspire you, we need to chat after, because this group of professionals, group of soldiers, is what it's all about right here, and I'm just incredibly proud to be part of it. Good afternoon to our special guests here today, Major General Retired Walt Lord, an incredible supporter from the Austin Peay University. Our representatives from members of Congress, John Clement and Sam Nenow from Senator Blackburn's office and Congressman Green's office. The reason we still have SRUs, the reason we have SRUs is because of your members' dedication to these units. Because it's easy to walk away from things like this, but you understand the importance just by being here today. Thank you for all of your support. Thanks to our champions of Fort Campbell, our special guests, my battle buddy, Colonel Andy Jordan, who we share a lot of things together. Mostly pain. Appreciate all your support, and Mr. Yeager out there, and Sergeant Major Stackpole and the team. Just really appreciate everything that you've done for the organization. My battle buddy, Colonel Will Bimson, and his team. Thanks to the SRU soldiers, the cadre, and the civilian staff who really support this great mission. Thanks to the 101st Band who's always helping us out and always doing great things. Let's give a round of applause to the 101st Band. Secondly, the SRU color guard. I mean, this is the SRU's color guard. It is spectacular, and will go toe-to-toe with any organization on this installation. So let's give them a round of applause. And just thanks to our entire Fort Campbell community for the incredible support. We could not do this without you. Today we wish farewell to Lieutenant Colonel Joe Reagan and welcome Lieutenant Colonel Clarisa Horton. Over the past 2 years, I've had the absolute honor to serve alongside Lieutenant Colonel Joe Reagan. And as we gave flowers to his mom today, I could only think to myself, she probably earned 2 dozen over her years working with this guy, for sure. In the summer of 2021, Joe took the flag waving before you with a few simple goals: to care for others, to heal the wounded, ill, and injured, and to leave the SRU in a better place than where he found it. There are no words that can express the impact Joe's had on this unit, the entire medical activity, and the Fort Campbell team. From day one, he set off to streamline care, develop pathways, integrate care for our home team, the 101st Airborne Air Assault. That journey was filled with challenges, resistance, and some incredible opportunities to lead. It wasn't easy, it was downright painful at times, and both of us weren't sure what the last chapter of this book would look like. Joe could have easily slowed the train down. He could have settled for status quo, and he would have walked away today with a successful command. For those who know Joe, there was zero chance of him settling for good enough or the status quo. Instead, Joe doubled down on his efforts, pushed all his chips to the center of the table, and focused on making this not just the top SRU in Army medicine, but the best unit on this installation. I know Joe doesn't take credit for any successes or accomplishments of this unit. He's the first to give credit to others. But every train needs an engine, and the data, the climate, and the entourage that surround him, consistently shadowed around him, will speak for itself. The Fort Campbell SRU is the largest SRU in Army medicine, recently reaching 255 soldiers. It supports over 10 times, yes, 10 times, the number of soldiers from the installation as any other SRU, recently at 26%. Most of the other SRUs support about 2% of the local population. The SRU established processes and best practices to support soldiers and their families, and his staff not only adopted this, but they were adopted at the MedCom level, the Department of the Army level, and even the DoD level. He assembled the dream team of civilians to provide continuity and support to our soldiers. And I will tell you, recently in the division run, as I was leading the formation, which included our SRU, also included our soldiers in recovery, also included civilians that work on this in this great footprint right here in the SRU. Inspiring, to say the least, when you look back and you see that team, and that's what Joe Reagan has built here. All of this was achieved while cutting the SRU footprint in half to support the relocation of Calsu, which was the right thing to do for the Army and for the soldiers at Fort Campbell. This was the SRU footprint, and now half of it belongs to the installation, to the Calsu mission. I could truly go on forever. When you look at Joe on paper, you see a Green Beret. It's a battle-tested warrior who has served at the tip of the spear across the globe, a seasoned warfighter. But what lies behind that outward-facing picture of an elite special operations officer is compassion. True care and concern for others. Joe's focus every day the last 2 years has been taking care of soldiers, fighting for changes at all levels to support soldiers, and setting conditions for a unit who has returned a staggering 55% of their soldiers back to the fight, unmatched by any other unit. We wish Joe the very best as he returns to the darkness of the Pentagon. Thanks for your leadership. Take a look at the sun, because you won't see it for a couple of years. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for your love for these soldiers and your total dedication of this mission. As you sit here concerned about the departure of Joe Reagan, I assure you, Lieutenant Colonel Clarisa Horton will only pick up this ball and continue sprinting down this field. Her wealth of experience at the strategic level in the Pentagon, as well as multiple combat deployments, tours at Fort Campbell, and leadership at all levels, assures she is the perfect fit for this unit. She is the right leader at the right time. We welcome her and her family, her husband, Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy Horton, dual military family, the hardest thing in the Army, period, and their son Samuel. Special thanks to her parents and her in-laws for making the trip from South Carolina and Texas. The SRU is an enduring mission. It is an enduring mission that is required to support the Army. It may change and it may morph, it may look different over the years, but this unit is stronger today than it has ever been. It may not look the same, but the mission remains the same. Care for the total force, keep the soldiers in the fight, and support this community. Stay the course and keep winning, because we know winning matters. Preservation of strength, Screaming Eagles, Aerosol.
Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander of the Soldier Recovery Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Joseph A. Reagan.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, General Lord, Miss Stevens, Colonel Hambrise, Colonel Jordan, all our friends of the SRU family. Really appreciate you all coming out today and taking some time to spend with us to celebrate this incredible organization, its incredible mission, and the honorable mission that it executes on a daily basis. So today's definitely a bittersweet day for me as I transition from command. I have a vivid memory of receiving a phone call in the fall of 2020 saying, "Hey, congratulations, you've been selected to command the SRU at Fort Campbell." And then I responded with, what the heck's an SRU? But I could not have imagined how rewarding of an experience commanding a unit such as this would have been, and how amazing this experience would be. As is customary with these speeches, I hope to share a little of that experience with you all today and to recognize some individuals who have made this place the best soldier recovery unit in the United States Army. For those not familiar with the mission of the SRU, its lineage derives from the warrior transition units created during the heights of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. With the gross number of casualties coming from overseas, the Army quickly found itself ill-prepared to handle that load. With it, it established the warrior transition units to help shepherd soldiers through the long road to recovery. The nature of their injuries during this period were often so grave that they had to get discharged from service. The program quickly focused on helping these soldiers transition from service, given the significance of their injuries, to lead healthy and productive lives as veterans. The program reached its zenith in 2015 with a total of 46 WTUs across the Army and helped tens of thousands of soldiers transition from the Army successfully with honor. But what happens when these conflicts no longer exist and the casualty of war come to a close? Is there no longer a need for units such as these to oversee complex medical care for the soldiers? Upon taking command of this organization in the summer of 21, I found myself asking myself that question quite a bit. Well, do we still need these units now that we're no longer at war? The Army had rebranded the warrior transition units to the soldier recovery units less than 8 months previously, but no one really knew what that meant. A general malaise had fallen over the unit as a result of the COVID pandemic, troop withdrawals from the Middle East, and the SRU restructure of 2020. We needed a new direction. We came together as a team in the summer of 21 to figure out what our mission and purpose was given the new operational environment. We studied the demographics of our population, the nature of how they arrived and their injuries, the deployability statistics with 101st, among numerous other statistics. One question that we kept coming back to was, with the name of the Soldier Recovery Unit, how many soldiers were we actually recovering? We realized that given the nature of our population and their injury types, that a lot of the soldiers that we had coming into our organization actually had a high probability of going back to the fight. However, given the previous institutional inertia among moving all soldiers towards a medical evaluation board, we knew we had a lot of work to do to change that paradigm. So we drafted a mission statement and a culture statement to help us answer the fundamental questions of who we are and what we do. You'll see those two statements in your programs that you have today and posted around here around the footprint. We developed 3 focus areas to be part of our mission, to build our team, to be more relevant to the 101st Airborne, and to improve our medical care process. The team set out recruiting top performers to join our ranks. We began to canvass the post to rebuild trust with the line units, and we challenged the status quo, no longer accepting because that's how we've always done it as an excuse for progress. After 2 years of toil and perseverance, our hard work has most certainly paid off. Today in front of you stand the cadre and soldiers in recovery who represent the best SRU in the U.S. Army. Amongst you, in the seating area of our civilian staff who represent the same. Today, the Fort Campbell SRU is the largest in the Army and returns more soldiers to duty across all 3 Army components: active duty, Army Reserve, and National Guard. During the last 2 years, our team has successfully returned nearly 200 soldiers to the Army, a savings of over $17 million to the U.S. taxpayers in recruiting and initial training fees. The program we run at Fort Campbell also buys down anxiety and risk. Soldiers may enter our SRU with significant mental health conditions, but leave more resilient and ready to continue service in the Army or as a veteran. This SRU has the least number of soldiers at risk despite having the largest population, a testament to the amazing climate and support from our team. For those soldiers who cannot return to duty, we give them all the tools they need to be successful upon transitioning. We get them into job training and educational opportunities to increase their career options. In addition to the soldiers we've returned to duty, we've also transitioned nearly 200 from service, helping those who can no longer serve depart the Army with honor and dignity. Ask any soldier that leaves this unit after going through our program, and they'll all tell you the same thing. The SRU is one of the best things that happened to them in a most critical time in their life. In many cases, the SRU is the difference between soldiers staying in service or getting out, and the difference in having a successful transition or leaving service quite unprepared. I had the opportunity to say my goodbyes privately to our cadre and staff the other night, but wanted to briefly highlight our team. Major Dave Henley, who commands our medical team, along with some other great leaders, Michelle Hoskins, Laura Williams, Francis Chase, and Wade Binion. They do an outstanding job at driving the medical care plans for all our soldiers, and just are just simply amazing. Our SRU detachment, led by Captain Cameron Duke and First Sergeant Adam Holmgren, who are responsible for the day-to-day management of nearly 250 soldiers geographically dispersed over 10 states across 3 different components. Pretty easy company command there. And then to our battalion staff, led by an assortment of military and civilian leaders. To all the military leaders, they all signed up for the staff positions. No, they really did, and I kind of put them in the staff positions, but they all love it. But an awesome S1 team, led by Laverne Woods and Lieutenant Amesti, our S3 team, Frank Formaono and Sergeant Hunter, S4, Sergeant Hardy and Sergeant Noriega, and our TC team, led by Mr. Cameron Diner and Misty Barr. Just amazing, absolutely amazing group of individuals who are dedicated to the mission every day. Can you please join me in a round of applause for them? Moving along, I'd like to thank some of the key supporters of our unit over the last 2 years. None of our progress would have been possible without these individuals. First, and arguably most important, Colonel Myers. Sir, you've afforded me the operational reach to push this unit in the direction we all know it needed. With your support, our team was able to become the best SRU by challenging the status quo and always endeavoring to do what was right, to take better care of our soldiers. And you refused to allow our unit to be an outlier. You actually pulled it in to be part of Team Bach. Thanks to you, the deputies, and the larger Bach team for your awesome support and leadership through our 2 years of command. All right, to my CSMs through the last 2 years. So I like to think that it took 3 of y'all to keep up with 1 of me, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. Hey, thanks to CSMs Rivera, Nunez, who's with us today, and Sergeant Major Gray, for always supporting me and driving our initiatives during our time together. To our military and civilian leaders from Fort Campbell, thank you for giving us your trust and support as we tried to build something better here. When we started here 2 years ago, I think we only had 4 soldiers from the 101st. My goal was always to get up to 101. Kind of fell short, but we almost got there. But the quality NCOs that have joined our team in the meantime, the facilities support that we received, Colonel Myers already talked about that with the Cal Sioux placement. The conversations with leaders on post talking about the SRU no longer being an impossible place to send soldiers. All of this is possible because all of you guys gave us a chance. Thank you so much. And in addition to our staff, the SRU is so blessed to be supported by an external network of partners who are always ready and willing to help soldiers heal physically and or mentally. They are not paid to do any of this and are all truly dedicated to helping soldiers and others get through tough times. These partners include Carla and Charlie, who support our guarding program, Tony from Wounded Warrior Project, Jen O'Neill, who executes an awesome, amazing equine therapy program, PFC Leo, who's in the stands. I've never really realized what rank he actually is. Tom Ian and our veteran biking crew that helps us out every week. Richard Casper from Creative Vets and Golden West for attending today. They use songwriting as a therapeutic tool to help soldiers overcome their mental health issues. The Division Band for teaching music appreciation classes every week here. The team at Boulder Crest for their instruction on post-traumatic growth. Terry and the crew from Healing Waters, who teach our soldiers fly fishing. And Miss Sarah Lowe, the chief horticulturalist from the Tennessee Governor's Residence, that helps us pick out what beautiful plants we have around the footprint. These partners really do add so much to our program to support our soldiers. Please join me in a round of applause for these amazing people. And then on a personal level, I'd like to thank my family for joining me today and for my extended family watching from various places across the country. Thanks for your support, for listening when I was working through my unique challenges in this job, and for always being there whenever I needed help. Thanks to my Nashville crew in attendance, for providing me with some much required sanity and balance throughout my command. You can imagine what that means. And to my mentors and SF brethren who have continued to offer sage counsel and wisdom over the years as I've navigated semi-permissive environments and worked my way into hostile GBASs. Thanks for all being present today. To our soldiers in recovery on the field and in attendance, continue to push yourselves every day to heal and grow. Take advantage of this opportunity to get back to the fight and become a better version of yourself. And finally, to Clarisa, I hope you don't share the same trepidation I did when I was in your shoes a couple years ago. You've got a great team and a great mission. Enjoy the privilege of command. It'll go by too quick. In closing, I want to remind everyone that our work here is not done. We still have much to do as it pertains to recovering wounded, ill, and injured soldiers. The Army's current challenges with recruitment and retention in the midst of larger geopolitical context have only highlighted the strategic importance of soldier recovery units across the Army. For those of you in this unit, the responsibility of this mission continues to fall on you each and every day. Continue to proceed with the same dedication and perseverance that you always have had. Never accept status quo, nor the easy no from taking care of our soldiers. The commitment is much too important. It has been an absolute honor to have been part of this team. I wish you all the best as you continue to do amazing things in caring for our nation's most precious resource, our soldiers. Eagle Warriors, Army Medicine is Army Strong, Air Assault.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the Soldier Recovery Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Clarisa A. Horton.
Good afternoon, Colonel Myers, Command Sergeant Major Petty, distinguished guests, family, and friends. I would like to express sincere thanks for your attendance at this afternoon's ceremony. Colonel Myers, our family very much appreciates your assistance in our move back to Fort Campbell, and I look forward to your leadership. I'm also excited to work with you, Command Sergeant Major Petty, and you, Colonel Preston, in the near future. Thanks to the whole BOC team for the warm welcome into MedCom. I'm grateful for all the blessings that God has provided throughout my career, and I'm so glad that the needs of the Army aligned with my desire to lead this exceptional organization. To all the military and civilian staff, thank you for sharing your passion for this mission. It is clear to me just how much you care for each member of this unit. You may already be tired of hearing me ask, what does this acronym mean? But I promise I'm working on it. Thank you also for doing such a great job in the preparation and execution of today's event, and for the division band for being with us today. To the detachment leadership, Captain Duke and First Sergeant Holmgren, you and the cadre are doing a phenomenal job in the care of over 250 soldiers. Keep up the great work and stay vigilant. For our soldiers in recovery, know that you will continue to find support and encouragement from your chain of command and medical support teams, and that we all want to see you healthy and fulfilled. Lieutenant Colonel Reagan, Joe, thank you for such a great hand over the past couple of weeks, and really for everything over the past year. There's a true sense of team here, and not just where work is just work. That is in no small part due to your passion and dedication. I wish you the best as you head back into the fray of the Pentagon. Glad I made it out. Command Sergeant Major Gray, I welcome your advice and already know we are going to make a great team. My husband looks forward to talking all things South Carolina and drinking sweet tea with you. To family and friends, thank you. I am in constant awe of the love and support our family receives, which allows us to navigate this dual military life. We know that there are many who are unable to make it here today, but please know that your support from afar is felt and appreciated. There are also many who traveled to be here in person, and we couldn't be happier to have you share in this milestone event. Thank you to Team Boyle, Team Conklin, Team Faust, Team Reber, and a big thank you to my in-laws, Mary Beth, and Terry and Stephanie, who traveled here from South Carolina. For my parents and younger brother who traveled here from Texas, along with my 2 older brothers and their families who are watching, thank you will never be enough. You all have been my shining example of faith and service, and I'm so proud of our family's Army legacy. Jeremy, we have accomplished so much as a family unit. I'm ever so grateful to have you as my sounding board and enjoy navigating this life together. Samuel, mijo, can you believe we're about to live back on our old street? Daddy and I look forward to watching you grow as you enter middle school this fall, and are so proud of the young man you are. I love you both very much. It has been stated that to command is to serve, nothing more, nothing less. I intend to serve this organization to my utmost ability and will rely on the expertise of our staff and cadre. I am also excited to work with the many organizations, some of whom are represented here today, that champion our mission and provide support to our soldiers in recovery as they restore their minds and body and return to duty or transition to veteran status. Our family is excited to be back at Fort Campbell. We look forward to making new friends and are glad to see so many familiar faces within the Screaming Eagles and across Fort Campbell and the surrounding communities. Army medicine is Army strong, air assault, Eagle Warriors.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the Screaming Eagle song and the Army song.
We have a rendezvous with destiny. Our strength and courage strikes a spark that will always make men free. Assault right down through the skies of blue. Keep your eye on the job to be done. We're the soldiers of the 101st. We'll fight till the battle's won. March along, sing our song. We're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the kids loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony.
Take charge of the unit, lead soldiers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. You are cordially invited to say farewell to Lieutenant Colonel Reagan near the podium stand. Please join us for a reception welcoming Lieutenant Colonel Horton, which will take place at the HQ lobby. This concludes today's ceremony. We thank you for attending. Eagle Warriors, air assault.